Okay, guys, so you just saw how I end up with this painting. So I went upstairs and I kept looking at it and I don't like it. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to fix it and to change it, because my fish is wrong. He should have had an arch to him. I don't like this, so we are just going to, let's see, I'm going to use my semi-wet brush here, and I'm just going to pick up some black. And we are just going to fix this. So, because we started with a black canvas, it's just going to put it back to like the way it was. But I need to get more black right here. So we're just going to fill this all in with black, and then we are going to fix this while this dries. You know, and there's going to be a few like little outlines, but we can fix that with, you know, some other stuff. So, I mean, technically I could, you know, sand it and then paint it over. But I just wanted you guys to see that, you know, if you do something and you're like, oh, I'm not happy with, you know, how it came out. And hang on here, I just got black all over my palette pieces. And then we're going to fill this in. Bam. Okay. So now, and I'm not liking this. Oh, do I? All right, we'll leave that. I think I can deal with that, but I couldn't deal with this. And once I looked at a photo and realized that, because I got upstairs and I'm like, oh, I should have arched my fish. And then I looked at some photos and yeah, I should have arched it. So let me get my dryer and we're going to dry this. And it won't take long. And I had my fins wrong on the fish, which is another issue that I didn't like. Now you can still see the fish, but we're gonna try to put the fish back over the spot, but I'm gonna try to angle it a little bit more. So that being said, let me just gonna grab a couple of other mop brushes here. I had my other my number 30, and I can't find it. All right, so I think what I'm going to do this time is I am going to mix my yellow and green, and we're going to start with a lighter color. And that's where I made my first mistake, because we're dealing with a black canvas. You already have your dark color there. So you really don't need to start with a dark color, which I completely had forgotten. So we mixed up just some yellow and green. And then we're gonna just get some of this color in. You know, so it could just be like a big massive bunch of trees or whatever. So I'm gonna take, let's see, what do I want to take for, I'm gonna dry that. Because we're gonna have to lighten it again. But I'm going to take some brown and white. And I'm not going to go as light as I did the last time. So if you didn't watch yesterday's video, this is like changing that whole video around. All right, so I've got some brown and white. I kind of just mushed it up, and let me and because our background is so dark, we need this to be a lighter shade. All right, so I'm gonna wash that brush. And I'm gonna put some more yellow. I'm going to go back to my original mop brush here and see. So I'm just mixing more yellow and more green. And I'm leaving some spaces so that some of the you know, the tree trunks are going to show up. All right. I'm liking that much, much better. And we might have to do it one more time, but we'll see. All right, so I'm gonna rinse this. Let's get some, a little bit of a ground mass underneath here. So I'm just going to use some black and that brown for the first, just to kind of see, you know, how I want this landmass to be. You know, before I go too light. All right, so now I'm just going to pick up that lightened color a little bit. And we're gonna put a few little shrubs or something down in here, so. And that way it looks like there's trees all in the back without them being like completely in our face type of thing. And I'm gonna do, because we're gonna have to go over these, because I want them to stand out as well. And then we're gonna put some landmass underneath over here. So I want to get that in before I get my water in. All right, I'm going to pick up just a little bit of white. And that's way too white. All right, I'm gonna grab some black and we're gonna run some black into there because that turned too light too quick. You know, I want it to be like, you know, there's a little bit of brightness, but not, you know, not a ton. Go back with the brown. Actually, I'm gonna mix some of the brown with the black. All right, and then we're gonna bring the water up to there, and Try not to go too light too quick on this side. All right. All right, now I'm gonna take my flat brush. We're gonna get some blue. And I'm just gonna, yeah, that's the one. All right. I'm gonna wipe this off and we're gonna pick up some blue. And then we're just going to kind of, so just change the whole look of this painting. You know, and it's funny because a lot of times, like, I will absolutely despise a painting that I do, and it will be the first one that I sell at a craft fair. So it, you know, it depends on your level of how much you hate it. And I really, really, really hated this one. So, and I'm just adding more of the blue. I'm gonna wet my brush here a little bit so we can get it to spread smoother. And I'm pick up one color and then I'll go back in and I'll pick the other color up. I'm gonna add more water to my brush, and that way we can get this blending on the sides. And then we're gonna keep going with the blue. And I'm trying to mix my colors while the one color is still really wet, because that way you get that nice blending, you know, of color. I feel like I need a little bit more of that dark up through there. Wet my brush. And when you're doing this, you want to go completely off your canvas. More water. A little bit more water, because I still got a lot of paint in this brush. There we go. A little bit more water. All right, I'm already liking this so much better. All right, I'm gonna dry that off as best I can. Okay, now let's get, I'm gonna put some more turquoise. And I'm gonna do a little bit of white. And I'm just real loosely getting some like water movement, ripples, whatever you want to call them. So I don't know what we're doing with the sides right yet, so I'm just going to do the whole thing. You know, we could put something, you know, we could put a landmass over here or whatever, but for right now, I'm not, you know, like 100% sure. All right. Yeah, I'm already liking that better. All right, let me take my wet mop brush, and I'm going to add more yellow to my green. And I'm actually going to put a little bit of white. And we're just going to give it like a final little highlight. And maybe on the edge, I'll just pick up more of just the yellow, just to kind of brighten, you know, a little bit more. Okay. Where's my... So I'm gonna take that really light greenish. And we're going to redo just so that they stand out a little bit more. And I'm not going as heavy with my color. All right. Whew, I'm liking that much better. And I'm going to add a smidge more white. And we're going to just put a few okay. I'm liking that. And maybe we can even just something that is just kind of giving the illusion that there's multiple things back there. Okay, so I'm liking that. So now we've got to get another green. And I'm going to mix the other green with the yellow. And we're going to give a little bit of bushes in here. And you want these to be like different heights, different brightness levels. So I'm going to pick up just more yellow and just have a few that are, kind of sparkling out a little bit, something different. And I'm going to put a little yellow and white. Okay. And let's just add a little bit of like that. All right. All right, I'm gonna do brown and black, and oh, did it the wrong way. Put a little white. All right, need white now. All right, so we've got a few rocks in here. I don't want them all the same color. All right, so I'm liking that much, much better. Okay, now, before we go too crazy, let me get my fish. And it's dry, so let me get my fish. And it's going to have a little fin there. And he's going to have a jagged on his backside. There, that looks so much better. And, oh crap, I just got in some new metallic markers that I was going to try using, but we'll see how the fish comes out. All right, so I am going to use my filbert brush, and I'm going to use that green and some dark blue. almost out of that color. All right, so I'm gonna take those two colors and try to find a clean spot on my palette here. And we're gonna make like a green, like a greenish blue. You know, and then we can give him some highlights. All right, I'm gonna mix up some more. And wipe that extra off. Because the underbelly is a little bit whiter. All right, now I'm wipe that. I'm going back into that blue-green. And we're gonna kind of blend an in-between color. So I just added water to my brush. That's all I did. So I can get this paint to kind of flow a little bit better. I'm gonna wipe, and then I'm just going to all right, so I'm just adding a little bit of white to that blue-green color that we made, just so I can get some highlights, you know, so our fish kind of stands out. All right, I just wet my brush and kind of wiped it a little bit so I can kind of soften these little highlight areas. Okay, I'm liking this already much better. I'm gonna take, let me find a small angled brush. I know I have one in here because this is a complete set. Right here. And I'm gonna make like a gray. So I'm gonna take some black, some white, and I'm even gonna mix a little bit of blue in there. And I'm gonna do this one first. Now remember, this is just chalk, so where's my chalk here? All right. So, and then I'm just going to pull that in to my fish. I'm going to just wipe that off, and I'm going to pick up some white. There. So at first I wasn't going to do a video of me changing the painting, but I know I have some people that are new to my, to painting and on my channel. So I'm like, no, I want them to see that even though something doesn't come out the way you want it, it's okay. It's paint. You can fix it. All right, so now I'm using my filbert brush because these, in fact, I'm actually gonna come up into this a little bit. So first, let me kind of get my shape. And now I'm just going to pick up some white, just like we did for that. And I'm going to kind of pull that in. And I might need a little bit more of the, because I want this to, there we go. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to I'm gonna do this is a size 12. So again, I'm going to pick up that, that green, blue, I don't even remember how I made it now. I got too much black here, hang on. Oh, I used blue and black, that's what I used, okay. I'm like, crap, what color am I trying to make here? All right. So we're gonna get his finny pieces. And then we'll just clean up the chalk marks after. I do want a little bit of that bluey kind of green. Just so it's like slowly, and then I'm gonna just pick up a little bit of white, and I'm barely touching the canvas, and I'm just kind of, you know, making little tiny strokes. All right, I'm going to take that same color and put that in the fins here. All right. I'm not liking and maybe I'll take my little brush, and we'll take a little bit of that black and that blue, and okay. Get off there. That looks a little bit better. Yeah, it was that dark rim that I wasn't liking. All right. Now take a little brush and black. And all right. Now I've just got to mix up like that lighter kind of blue shade. And I'm going to just more white. Just going to wet my brush. Let me use the small angled brush. A little bit of water. All right. Now we can go back, fix his mouth just a smidge here. Okay. Phew, I'm liking it. Now, we've got to get, like a, kind of a water line kind of going. So I'm going to just take some water, some of the dark blue, and some of the light blue. Let's see. And it's very watery, guys. And it's just the both colors on my brush here. Just wipe all our chalk marks. All right, so I've got to lighten these up a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to take some white, some blue, and some black. And I'm just like making little marks and pulling. All right, I'm just going to take that green, blue color that we kind of made for the, and I'm going to just take a little bit of white. I'll just, with a wet brush, I'm just kind of smearing that in. And then I'll go back over the eye. Just adding water. I'm just trying to because I needed that darkness going into the fish. All right. Now I'll take the some of that blue-green. Nope, not blue-green. Black-blue. And I'll take my round brush there, much better. All right, so now I've got to get some clean water. All right, so I'm going to get some clean water. And a clean spot to put some white paint. That's my white. All right, I'm just gonna put it on my parchment paper. So I'm gonna wet my brush, and I'm gonna take some of that white and I'm gonna water it down. All right, hang on. I'm gonna take a clean brush. I'm not liking that, so we're just gonna get some of that off. Clean paper towel. All right. And I'm going to use my little liner brush, well, round brush. It's not actually a liner brush. It's just a little, and I'm just making little watered down little marks. And some lighter, some darker. All right. And then this has a little bit of blue in it with that thinned down white. And yeah, that looks a little better. Now, the other thing that I had noticed when I looked at the fish is the dark spots. And I don't want it to be, I mean, it is black, but you know, and these are definitely different sizes. There, I think that I'm liking this better. I don't know if I like my water driplets, but it's definitely, oh, once I just dunk my brush in my white paint. This is pretty watered down. That might be too watered down. All right. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of the blue and the white with a little bit of water and just kind of give a little bit of all right, so I'm thinking that is definitely all right. I think that is looking good. All right, so let me know if this is better than yesterday's. So yeah, that's what we've got. So I just figured, you know, it would be kind of fun to show you guys how you can just completely change a picture and it's not really a big deal at all. Alrighty guys, I will see you on the next one. Bye.